Hello and welcome to this episode of Fine is a Four-Letter Word. This is a very special episode because this is episode 25, which is quite a milestone because not a whole lot of podcasts get to episode 25. I know that seems crazy to think about, but here we are already at episode 25. This one's going to be a little bit different because my friend Janette Gallardo is on. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. So she's on here with me and she's going to turn the tables on this situation and she's going to interview me. So I'm going to turn it over to Janette and let her go and we'll see where this goes. Welcome, Janette.
Thank you. I'm very excited. And first of all, congratulations on episode 25. This is very exciting. And before we begin with the interview, I would like to introduce myself. So I am Janette Gallardo. I am the founder of Vita Solutions, and I do fractional CFO work as well as money mindset coaching. So let's get started. I'm very excited because, as you know, I have so many questions for you. I follow your podcast, and I'm always intrigued and learning from your guests. But I have always wondered, what about you? I want to get you to know. I want to get to know you more. So this is the perfect episode to turn things a little bit around and get you on the spotlight and get for the audience. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that wants to know you more. So as you know, we start this podcast with a little bit of getting to know you, like a brief overview of your early life, and we want to know what was expected of you growing up.
Yes, I knew you were going to ask me that because that's what I ask everyone. So yeah, my beliefs and values. You know, one of the ones that came to mind most immediately was education. Education is important. That was always something that was emphasized in my family and you always have to be learning. Like my maternal grandfather lived to be 96 or 97. And he was always learning. That's a lifelong thing. So that's great because I think that as humans, we should always be learning. The downside, or if there's a negative side to it, is that for a very long time, and this is something I still work on managing, is that I never know enough.
Right.
Yeah, being in that place of, well, I don't know enough yet. I still have to learn more in order to do X, Y, or Z. I don't know enough. So,
Right. And I also feel like there's a flip side to that because it's great. I think that's a great thing to have. Like you want to develop and grow and learn. But I think the flip side to that is, are you applying it into your life, or are you just learning to learn and just going through life being fine without making any changes? Was that the case for in your family, your grandfather, and one of the, I guess, habits?
that's a good point because I think that is something that I have done is go and learn and learn and learn, but not necessarily implement. In the past, I've gotten better in the more recent years, but good point there because yes, there's value in learning for learning's sake, but then there's not value if you're just learning and not implementing. That could be to your detriment.
Right. And do you find that well, let me jump onto this question because I want to learn more about your program, and I was going to ask, with the program that you're currently running, do you find that with your the participants that they have done all this work on themselves, done all the things, and they are at a place that they have gained so much growth, but are they applying what they have learned, or all of the education that they have done, are they applying it in their lives, Or is that where you come in and kind of like help them navigate through that? Or how does that look? So walk us a little bit through your program, and then like your clients, like where are they in what stage of their life they're in?
Yeah, I'll do that. And then I also want to go back and because there are a couple other things of values and beliefs that play into some things as well. But yes, one of the things that the people who participate in my program have is that they are not new to personal development. Like they've been doing personal development for years. And really, personal development isn't something where you get to a point and you're like, okay, I'm done here. It is a lifelong process of always learning more about yourself and how you interact and how you communicate and how you function in the world. So that is something that they have experience with and that they understand is a lifelong thing. Implementation is, like you said, a lot of people learn just to learn and then never implement. And that's why the program has actual exercises. Like I hesitate to call it homework, but there are exercises after every session to carry out on your own to go do things. For example, one of them in and well, I'm sure you'll ask me more about this question because I get it all the time about the three different parts, which is in the Fuck Being Fine experience, there's the trilogy for success. And one of the components of that is gratitude. And one of the exercises under gratitude is to write three gratitude letters to people who have positively contributed to your life in some way and that maybe they don't know.
I love that. Oh, I love that. That's so good. Uh, yeah, and we'll continue on diving into because I know you have a lot to share throughout. But like, yeah, let's go back to what were the beliefs that were instilled in you and that you picked up?
Yeah, so two more. One of them was about being practical with money, that you have to be practical and you have to be responsible with money. I'm pretty sure that my dad co-signed because I can't think of how else I would have gotten a credit card at 17. But that's when I got my first credit card, and I believe it was a Macy's card because those are easier to get, a store card. But to start building my credit and to start learning how to be responsible with credit, that savings was always a big thing. Like I have a piggy bank that is actually a ceramic pig that I have had since I was a child. That thing is still not cracked open. It's sitting on my dresser. So money, being responsible with money, donating money to charitable causes was always something that was important in my family. So the flip side of that is that I have a hard time allowing myself treats or doing nice things for myself because I should be saving the money, right? It's about saving it so you can have it for the future. I don't know what's happening in the future that I need all this money for, but that's that's what I was learning. So,
And how have you seen that? So aside from just like, I guess there's this guilt, and I can relate to that. I think that plays. I don't know if just by being a woman or just anybody that money has been a big factor in their upbringing. But how have you overcome that so that you can actually treat yourself and not feel guilty?
well, I'm still working on
Yeah.
that. I mean, so sometimes it's smaller things that I'll do something like, oh, I could get a cupcake or but I could really use a massage and I have not allowed myself to do that in a very long time. So
So
it's
then we're
overcoming.
definitely like booking a massage after this. And
Okay. Cool. That sounds good. And then the third thing was, and I didn't realize that I had learned this until after my mom passed away 7 years ago, but friendships are important. Friendships have always been important to me. I knew that part, but I didn't know where that came from. And it came from watching her, I guess, from just being around her. She had one friend, who we called my Aunt Carol. They were friends since they were 5 years old. And she was still good friends with her college roommate and other people that she had lifelong friendships, and I have the same. And so clearly I saw that she was that she was modeling that for me. And I love that. I love that I have that. I love that she modeled that for me.
Yeah, that is like so important as like to have that community and nourish like true friendships. That is beautiful, and that is like so like awesome that you have that in you. And I think it is very I remember like when I first met you, I felt that like it just you're like so welcoming and so open and just so inviting that I felt it.
Oh,
I knew.
thanks.
I don't know if you knew, but I knew. I'm like, oh, we're gonna be good friends.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah. And the flip side of that is that I tend to be very, very loyal to people.
Mm,
And so I stay friends with people pretty much forever. If you come into my friend world, but at the same time, if it's not a necessarily healthy relationship, I might stay in it too long because
yeah.
I am very loyal to that relationship.
So walk me through that. Like, how does that look? How do you know when to, I guess, let go of a relationship that is not serving you?
Yeah. Okay. Now you're going to make me cry. So, that's part of what happened, I think, in my marriage, because I this was a person that is still an amazing person. But when the relationship got to the point where it wasn't really serving either one of us anymore,
Yeah.
we stayed in because loyalty, because we can make this work, because there's history. Like that's what, a lot of friendships have, this history, and you don't want to give that up.
Yeah.
And so it's, about realizing that, okay, you're not giving up the history. You're not really giving up anything. It's just freeing each other to go on and live the next season of life.
Yeah. 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 That's so powerful because I do believe that a lot of people stay in those friendship and relationships and just oh, I just love that you're being so like just opening up to us. Like love that because I know people are gonna appreciate it too. Like to get to see also your world and learn about you. So thank you for being so open.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, like uh, it's so powerful to be able to identify and not identify that okay, this relationship is no longer serving us, so let's move forward because it is so easy to stay as in that fine, like we're fine, like not, there's nothing wrong. It's just that we're just fine and there's no longer any inspiration or aspiration, motivation, growth for the relationship either. So that is so powerful that you can actually look at it and cherish everything that you have had with that person, but still be able to move forward and let go. And I mean, I keep on coming back to your program because I'm like, that's probably something that you covered during your the fuck being fine experience. I'm assuming,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how to
Well,
let go of that.
right. Because it takes a lot of courage to
Yeah, yeah,
to let go of, whether it's a relationship with a marriage, a partner, whatever that is, or it's a relationship with a job, being in a job for 20 years and just not feeling fulfilled anymore, or letting go of, you and I don't have children, but people who have children, letting them go. That's what you raised them for, was to be responsible adults to let them go out on their own. All of those situations are very difficult to navigate through. And when I first left my marriage, people were telling me how courageous that was. And I'm like, that's not, well, like, no. I didn't see it as being courageous. And looking back though, yeah, there is an element of courage to that. You have to be willing to jump off the cliff, even if you don't see a safe landing below you. You don't see a landing at all, or I don't know where this is going to take me. You have to be willing to move in faith, trust and faith. And so that is the third part of the trilogy for success is courage. The first part is gratitude. The second part is connections, friendships, connections. And the third part is courage.
Wow, that is so important. And as you were saying, like when you left your marriage and people were telling you that that was so courageous, and you're like, you couldn't see that, but it is. It's just trusting the unknown. I think that's so
Yes.
powerful, and like just trusting that everything that is meant for you is gonna happen, and just being there and trusting that unknown, which is I think is the most uncomfortable thing for us as humans to do. So how do you walk that walk and stay trusting that everything is gonna work out?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I love that you said everything that is meant for you will happen. That
Yeah.
is such a powerful thing to keep in mind and to, put on a bulletin board or a whiteboard or a post-it note and just keep in your bathroom or wherever you need it to remind you. One of the tools that I used to help me through that experience, through that experience and every day since, is meditation.
Oh, yes.
And I mean, there's not really a day that goes by that I don't meditate for at least 5 minutes. I mean, it doesn't have to be an hour. There's a Zen proverb that if you don't have time to meditate for an hour a day, you should meditate for two. Uh,
Right.
but even
I've
that,
heard
you
that.
don't have to put an hour into it. 5, 10, 15 minutes can be enough to help you feel grounded and calm and find that sense of peace. And I'm at the point now where it's almost like I didn't brush my teeth if I leave the house or get up and get into my day without meditating. It's just part of my morning routine at this point.
Yes, I love that because as you know, I'm like big into meditating, and that's a big part of my life as well. And so, can you share with us what does meditate? Because I think there's a misconception, or people see meditation as different things. It means different things to different people. Can you walk us through what meditation can look like? Because there's so many phases of meditation, and like how can you actually uh, bring that as part of your routine?
Yeah, I love the app Insight Timer. Insight Timer, we can
Mhm.
put that in the show notes. But Insight Timer is an app you can download for free, and there are
Mhm.
100,000 meditations on there. None of mine, but that's okay. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah.
The so picking an something from there, and you can search by time. If you only have 10 minutes, you can find you can search by topic, whether you want a meditation for anxiety or stress or sleep or whatever it is. I just find something there. Usually for the morning meditations, I usually find something from there and listen to that. So meditation is not necessarily, and I've had clients tell me that they thought meditation was sitting cross-legged on a mat in complete silence and getting rid of all of the thoughts in their head,
Yeah.
which is virtually impossible for
Right.
anybody. So then they thought they were doing it wrong because they couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But meditation is really about seeing the thoughts coming into your head and then coming back to, bringing yourself back to your breathing, the sound of the meditation teacher's voice, your heartbeat, whatever it is that you're bringing yourself back to. That is actually part of the practice of meditation, is keep bringing yourself back, keep bringing yourself back. And a lot of people, meditation, using a guided meditation, that's not cheating. That's another thing, is people are like, well, I couldn't sit in silence, and it's kind of cheating if I listen to music or a meditation with a guided meditation with a voice. Not cheating at all, because it's really about calming your nervous system, your circulatory system, calming yourself and getting into this place where you're just grounded and centered and in touch with your own inner truth. That's what we don't give ourselves enough time to do.
Yeah, that gave me goosebumps. Yes, it's being like connected to oneself and to our truth. I love that. To our truth.
Yeah.
This is the first time I see it that way. It is our truth. So before I ask you another question on the meditation, I have this one, like, how were you introduced to meditation? Like how long have you been practicing? Like, what was your story with meditation?
Yeah, another great thing my mom did for me. She did many things as I was growing up, but she introduced my brother and me to meditation when I was 10. She took us to this
Wow.
meditation course that's now known as the Silva method, and put us through this course. So I learned how to meditate when I was 10, but then I didn't use it for like the next 35 years. So I don't know why. Like, I knew about all the benefits and I knew it would help me, and I still didn't do it until shortly after she passed away. And then I got back into it because I was looking for some ways to be grounded and centered and find that sense of peace. And I came back to it and found some meditations that worked for me.
Wow, I feel like it was a full circle. So she prepared you for when she passed,
Oh, don't
you
even,
know.
how you're going to make me cry again.
As I'm listening to you, I'm like, wow, she gave you the tools, but you weren't ready because she was preparing you for her passing. That's wow.
Sure.
That
I never looked at it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the thing, right? Because we, again, through the learning, we learn. But sometimes it's not the time for us to come in and do the work. But it's in there, like we have it in us, we have the tools. So when we're ready, it shows up like whatever situation that might be, and then we're ready. We have the tools, and we can work on that area of our life. So it's like a full circle. So that's
Yes.
wow. That's so whoa,
That's
beautiful.
so
Like,
insightful of you. Yeah.
well, that's how I feel things. That's how things work out. I feel like you're doing all these things, and sometimes you don't even know that you're already doing the work
Yeah.
until you're faced with a challenge, and you're like you're there where you have been preparing yourself without knowing to face that challenge and to pull all those tools that you learned when you were 10.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like how I see it. But one question I do have, because I love your meditations. You actually did a custom meditation for me, and it was so powerful. So I have been meditating for a couple of years now, and I had never had like a custom meditation. I didn't even think that existed until you did my meditation. And I want to share with the audience because it was awesome. And from somebody that I had been like practicing meditation, I totally forgot that it was a custom made meditation because it was so professional and your voice is so beautiful and so powerful that I
I
would
did
just
not, I did not pay Janette to say this. I didn't even ask her to. We didn't, okay, go on.
I wasn't paid for this. I'm actually like I love her voice, and you have like this voice like you were meant to yeah, to speak for us, to help us heal. And your meditation, to me, I totally forgot that you had, like, it was custom made. And then all of a sudden you're saying things that, like, during our conversation that you were going to bring up, like to help me with whatever I was working on. And all of a sudden, like, you start bringing, like, I remember, like, walking at my grandmother's house and this, and I just started crying. Like, I got so emotional. It just took me to a different place and a different level of meditating. So I did want to bring that up because I felt very connected to your like the way you do your custom meditations. And I want you to share with us like how the process of that, like how do you work with clients on that, because they're so, at least for me, it was so powerful. And to me, it's like you planted the seed in my subconscious without even realizing, and things, like, I have seen a lot of shifts through your meditation. So I do believe they're so powerful. So walk us through that, like the process and your love for them, because I
Thank
can feel the
you.
love, like while following your guided meditation.
Yeah, so the custom gratitude meditations are actually part of the Fuck Being Fine experience, because that is in the second part of the trilogy is connections, where we talk about connections with others. And then, of course, most importantly, the connection with yourself. And so anybody who participates in the program gets a customized meditation. And then they're also available outside of the program, which is what you and I did with that. But those custom meditations help people get into this feeling of gratitude, feeling gratitude, which is one of the more elevated emotions, emotions that you want to be in order to manifest
Yeah.
things into your life. You have to be vibrating. That's the word I was looking for. You have to be at a higher vibration. And
Yeah.
gratitude is one of the highest vibrations you can be at. Joy, love, appreciation. Those are the higher vibrations. And so in order to bring the things into your life that you want, you have to be matching that higher vibration. And that's what those meditations do, is they help people to feel gratitude. And I start out by helping clients feel gratitude for things that have happened in the past and things that are currently manifested into their life. Because sometimes it's easier to feel gratitude for those things you can remember. And
Right.
then I carry that through into feeling gratitude for those things that you are working on manifesting into your life, feeling gratitude for them as if they are already here. Because that is the
Yeah.
key. That's the trick, if you will,
Yeah. Yeah.
to getting them to manifest faster. And if people don't like the term manifest, the other way to phrase that is achieving goals.
Yes. Yes.
So getting
Agree.
to those goal achievements faster when you are visualizing and meditating on those things, they happen faster.
Yes. Oh, that makes so much sense, because as I'm thinking of the meditation you did for me, and you were asking me, because I was wondering, why are you asking me all these questions? But now it makes sense because you asked me, like, tell me about a time or place or experience where you felt the, like, gratitude, where you felt love, where you felt
Where you felt
joy.
safe.
And
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then as you're walking me through my meditation, you're dropping those insights in there. And the most powerful thing is that it feels like, I don't know, I felt like I was paying for this, like, like high-end meditation. So that's what I loved about it, because I totally forgot that it was my own. And I love how you walk me through it, and you set me up for, I felt the emotions in my body. Like
Yeah.
when you were walking me through it, I felt it, and it felt so real. Like, I mean, I started crying. I wasn't sad. It was like this, crying, like I felt so connected to those feelings that it brought tears to my eyes. And then as you started walking me through the future and my what I wanted to manifest or my goals, they felt so real. And it's one of the meditations that I keep on going back to, and it's so it's so amazing. I'm always amazed on how things start showing up, because it does play in your subconscious, and as you said, like staying in a higher state of vibration is gonna help you move forward towards those goals or toward
Yeah.
manifesting. So that makes total, like, now I can see like how that is connected. That is
Yeah.
so awesome.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get that feedback from a lot of people that I've created them for. The same thing. It's this yeah, it's a feeling that you can't get from a meditate any other kind of meditation. Yeah.
Yes, and I felt that, and for people that haven't tried them, I highly recommend them. Like, it's such, I know, I'm saying it for me as that I truly like. I mean, I love them, and I do believe that people would benefit from those. Even the ones from your podcast, like at the end of
Yes.
every episode, they're like so good. Like, I love like listening to those as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and I really
So.
enjoy creating them, which is I think part of the feeling that you get is cuz I'm putting energy into them and I love it
Mhm.
and yeah. So, yeah.
I love that. So let
What
me ask you this, because I have so many questions for you, and I know I'm going all over the place, but um, I wanted to ask you, how long were you stuck in fine, and how long did it take you to realize that, like, how was the process for you? Like, did you know you were stuck in fine for a long time, but you didn't have the courage
Mhm.
to move forward, or did you realize that all of a sudden, like walk us through that? How did it show up for you?
Yeah, yeah, I will answer that question and it was, and I think for most people, you know that you're in fine for a long time because fine is comfortable. It's like a warm
Mm,
blanket. You don't want to get a warm blanket on a cold day, let's say.
yeah,
You don't want to leave it because again, it comes back to it's scary. And
yeah,
so, I mean, I probably knew for 10 years, but I
yeah.
kept
Wow.
thinking that we can fix this. It can get better. It
Mhm.
can be better than fine. It will just, yeah, we can do this, we can do that, I can work harder, I can make it happen, uh, because I didn't want to do the hard thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't get married thinking that I was going to get divorced. In fact, that's my parents got divorced when I was about 11. And I always said that's something I'm never going to do. And I deliberately looked well, in my head, I made the choice, but it wasn't until I looked back. Like I didn't only date people whose parents had been married for ever. But that is who I ended up marrying was somebody whose parents were married for 50 years. I don't remember how old. I mean, they were married for their entire lives.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And because I thought, okay, I want somebody who knows what that is like. And that
Mm.
is who I married. And it still didn't work for me. So, but yeah, it takes a long time to build up the courage to come to the edge and jump.
Right, right, right.
So
And then when you were ready to make that, I guess, decision to move forward, what tools did you use to get you through that?
it was, again, it was meditation for the most part.
Meditation.
Yeah, I mean, I started meditating before I actually left, but yeah, using meditation, um, and just getting to the point, again, after my mom passed away, and that was still 4 years before I left the marriage. But because she was only 73, and I don't think it really matters, she could have been, 103. You start looking at your life going, all right, do I want to live the next 20 years the same way I lived the last
Mm,
20? And if the answer is no, what are you going to do about it? And that's what kept going in my head of, all right, what am I going to do about it? How do I want to live differently? And
That is, yeah, and that is, I think, the question that not a lot of people, well, maybe they get to ask that question for themselves, but they just neglect it. Like, no, I'm fine. Like, why would I go through all of that? Like, like the comfort of just showing up to a marriage that maybe doesn't make me happy, but I have all of these other things to make up
right,
for it.
right,
And
right.
like
At least I know what I
the
have here.
distraction. Exactly, exactly. And the distractions, like I feel like we almost kind of like turn into like we start brainwashing ourselves and like find distractions so we don't have to deal with that, even though we know we have to. But that's one of the things that I believe keeps us there. And sometimes I almost feel like when you have done all the work, you're outside of fine, but you still have more work to do. Do you
Yes.
find that?
Yes, for sure. Because tremendous amount of guilt, if we are being honest here, which I am,
Yeah.
for even now, I've worked through a lot of it. So I don't have nearly as much, but those first year for sure, even the second year, so much freaking guilt because I was the one who said, we need to move past, I was the one who left. I was the one who initiated it. Even though he agrees that the relationship wasn't serving either one of us. And in fact, about a year ago, we were having a conversation and he's the one who said, in order for us to, if we were ever to get back together, we would have to individually sacrifice too much of who we are to make it work. And that was so profound for me. He was saying that because he knew I was still dealing with a lot of guilt from it. And he was trying to help me work through that, which is a tremendous, see now, you just keep taking me into the crying place, tribute to who he is.
Yeah. Wow. And that is, I feel that. And by the way, tears, I find tears beautiful. So no shame in crying. I appreciate all emotions. They're beautiful and they make us human and they make us connect to others. So thank you. Thank you
Yes.
for sharing with us. But I was gonna say that piece where you're like, okay, I'm out of fine and I am doing better, but I do find that we always have to work on ourselves, even when we're
Correct.
outside of fine, even when we have done all the work, there's always more work to be done. So we don't get again, we don't find the next 2.0 fine version of us, like it's kind of
Right.
like you have to keep on going and doing the work. And I do believe that's what you do in your program with those women that like they have done all the work already. They're outside of fine, or they're trying to get outside of fine, and they don't want to get stuck in the fine 2.0 version of themselves. So walk us
Yeah.
through that.
That's a great analogy or a great way to put it. And yeah, I don't I will talk about that and then we can since we kind of brought it full circle back to the whole idea of that education and learning is a lifelong process. And
Yeah.
then we can wrap it up because we could go on forever, but
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I like
Let's
to
do it.
keep them a little bit condensed. Yeah, I mean that's part of the program is really just about giving people tools. It's accountability. It's a group program because groups tend to, you have the support of each other. So when I do private client, which I do also, but you have me as the support. But
Yeah.
when you have a group, then you have a small tribe to support you as well, to share ideas, to share experiences, to help everybody feel like, okay, I'm not alone in this. I'm not the only one who feels guilt around this. I'm not the only one struggling with meditating, or I'm not the only one struggling with making these decisions, whatever it is, finding purpose. It's a lifelong ongoing experience, which is why we need to, why there are so many different programs, so many different books, so many different podcasts. There's perspective from every single one of them that is different and useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So yeah, for sure, it's always a work to be done, and growth is just consistent, everyday type of thing. So
Yeah.
finally, our last question to end today's interview. In baseball, there's what's known as your walk-up song. What is yours? The one that pumps you up, the one that gets you ready.
Yeah. So you're asking the girl who has spent time as an on-air radio personality, who loves music, and that's why I implemented this question in my podcast. So I, of course, have so many songs, and I make my guests choose one. So if I had to only choose one, it would probably be Carrie Underwood's Champion. However, it could also be Van Halen / Van Hagar, because that's what the era
Yeah.
was, but their song Right Now.
Oh, I love that.
So I will
Oh,
put links to both of those in the show notes. And Pink, I mean, almost everything Pink. Her songs totally get you
yeah.
pumped up. Yeah, those are.
I love those. Like also the contrast of each of them. Like that's
Yeah, I'm
I love that. Yeah,
diversity in music tastes for sure.
I love that. So well, thank you. Thank you for opening up to us and sharing your story. And I love that we get to learn more about you and who's behind the microphone and the interview. So thank you, and gratitude.
Thank you, Janette, for being such an amazing host of my own podcast and for offering to, in fact, suggesting this was your idea to do this episode. And I thought it was such a great thing to do for episode 25. So thank you so much for joining me here on Fine is a 4-letter word.
Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.